We're joining Moria Mandal and myself on Football United, our Messrs Caldera and Reddy, two gentlemen who were kept busy commentating on the AFC Cup games featuring Bengaluru FC and ATK Mohun Bagan, where BFC were knocked out unfortunately, but the Mariners signaled their intention by becoming zonal champions and qualifying for the next round. So congratulations to all the Mariners fans, including Moria, on this show. But first up, let's find out what we have on the show for you.
ATK Mohun Bagan emerged group champions in the AFC Cup and moved to the next round after holding Basundhara Kings to a draw. We speak to Sandesh Jhingan as he completes his move to HNK Sibenik. FC Goa's new star striker Airam Cabrera joins us on Football United.
A big result then for ATK Mohun Bagan in the first time of asking. They've gone through to the next round, Brad, but not without a bit of difficulty as we just get a glimpse of David Williams' jersey, of course, pivotal to taking them to that next round. But Brad, what did you make of their campaign so far?
I think it's a typically clinical performance from Senor Habas's side. And I think you could see that a lot of, not just ATK Mohun Bagan fans like Mojo and just football fans in India in general were cheering that result because there's ranking points at stake, and even you could see the likes of I think Akshay Tandon from FC Goa and others were tweeting in support of it because it means in a few years' time, if you win the Hero ISL, the Champions League spot is still there, the direct entry into the AFC Champions League. So I think it's very important that either Bengaluru or ATK Mohun Bagan were to get through as winners of the group. And I think if you look at it on the balance of it, the best team, the strongest team, and the strongest squad has probably gone through from the group. And that's crucial as well because I think they're the ones with a realistic chance of going a little bit further now in October when they face their next opponents and possibly, I could actually see them beating the team from Hong Kong, but obviously there's one hurdle to get there before that.
And Darren, coming to you, you were commentating on the match. It wasn't easy. Basundhara threw everything at ATK Mohun Bagan. They were on the back foot for a bit, but finally came through. But what do you make of the three games that ATK Mohun Bagan played?
No, definitely. I think ATK Mohun Bagan were deserved leaders of the group, and I thought you have to give them credit as well as Habas. They've been out for a long time. They haven't had a proper preseason, I would say, not enough of friendlies or games to get into this AFC Cup. And I thought they hit the ground running. It's never easy to get into a tournament like this against quality opposition, and I thought they did phenomenally well. Even the new signings that have come in, Deepak Tangri and the likes of Hugo Bumo, again, important players for the team. I thought they did really well. And tonight, if you see, they had nervy moments throughout. They were 1-0 down. They somehow clawed their way back, and I thought that the red card kind of did them a little bit of a favor. But then again, it wasn't a job done. They had an entire half to make sure they didn't concede, and we all know Habas's side. When they decide to defend, they defend really well. They dig deep and they grinded out that result. And credit to ATK Mohun Bagan. Yeah.
And now obviously it begs the question, Brad. You said the strongest squad has gone through, and the squad is what comes into firm focus from Habas's point of view. Carl McHugh, Krishna, Williams, Bumu, all of these guys available to him, of course. But with the availability of somebody like Tiri, would you go in with somebody like Tiri in defense, or would you stick to the four that have played this time?
Or even a Yoni Kauko is there. What is the ideal four-player mix for the next round? Because defensive issues were there.
Probably maybe not take Yoni Kauko because lack of familiarity with his teammates. He hasn't played as much with everyone. And I think if you look at the way Habas's team is set up, they're pretty difficult to break down centrally. So I think in terms of, you'd worry if something were to happen in a game to Carl McHugh, they just don't have anybody in terms of cover in that particular position. So the prudent thing would probably be to go with Tiri, and obviously considering Tiri's played alongside the likes of Pritham and Subhashish, it wouldn't be a problem for him adjusting straight into that position. But then the question is, who do you leave out? I mean, you can't leave Krishna out because Krishna is Krishna, and you can't leave Williams out on the performance in the last game because I think he just gives you that editing, and obviously he's the Asian player, so he's there almost. So those two names are there directly. So then it's a big question of, do you take the gamble and leave Bumo out? I mean, they've got through this last game with Bumo being suspended. There is obviously the risk with Bumo that he's always liable for something like that, but he showed in the previous game when he came off the bench that what he's capable of, and he just needs 20 minutes and he can change the game. And so I think that X factor that that he brings to the table, you've got to keep in this game. So you use the old adage, it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't change the squad.
What about BFC, the other team in that Group D of the AFC Cup? Darren, for you, I mean, obviously they couldn't buy a goal in the first 2 games. They were a bit unlucky as well in their second game. But then scoring 6 after benching the 6-time AIFF Men's Player of the Year, I think things are looking good as far as youngsters are concerned, you reckon?
Definitely. I mean, if you look at the start that they had, like I mentioned earlier, they lacked a bit of creativity. There was too much pressure I felt on Clayton Silva and Sunil Chetri. And, today, I think the coach, Marcote, takes a big call there, benches Sunil, and, he gives a lot of youngsters a chance there. And you've got Leon Augustine, you've got the likes of, Bidya Sagar getting some game time, Shiva Shakti coming on, all of them looking like sharp, and Udanta getting on the score sheet. When was the last time we said that? And
that's some 10-11 matches ago.
Yes, it's been a while, and I thought they played phenomenal football today. They were playing with a lot of pace and intent. There's something that I've learned from a lot of coaches when you say you pass with purpose, and I thought that's what BFC were doing tonight. They looked a very good side when they had the ball. You could still see a bit of transition when there was transition back to defending. They seemed out of sorts, but again, it's a young squad. I think they're still getting to know each other.
Well, speaking of senior statesmen in their sides, there's still a very young man in Sandesh Jhingan who's decided to go abroad to Croatia, Darren, and ply his trade with HNK Sibenik. Huge move for him, personally, of course. And what can we expect in terms of, what he can offer to the club and what he can do for Indian football going forward?
Oh, I think it's a massive move, not just for him. I think for Indian football, because we always talk about whether Indian footballers can play abroad and make their mark in probably Europe, and he's moved to the Croatian top league. So we all want to see him do really well. He's a player who was out with a long-term injury for a while. He was out for an entire season, but came back really, really strong. Had a strong season with ATK Mohun Bagan, and has now made this move to HNK Sibenik.
And Brad, it's a big move for Sandesh because he's gone on his prime. He knows he's, in a sense, put himself back to square one, right? Because he has to now prove himself once again, over and over again. Probably a pay cut, we don't know. It's a big move for him.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, but credit to him. I think to do it, if you're ever going to do it when you're at your best. And, at 28, you're in your prime as a footballer. He's come off a good season where he's played almost every single game. And you're challenging yourself. You're going to a league where you're going to have to be fit to play 40 games a season. I know they've already started their season, and he's probably going to miss the first 6 or 7 games of it. But there's an opportunity for him to play a full European season.
All right, on that note, let's hear from Sandesh Jhingan. We caught up with the AIFF Men's Player of the Year on his arrival in Croatia, and this is what he had to say.
Well, Sandesh Jhingan joins us on Football United. Sandesh, first of all, many congratulations on this new adventure with HNK Sibenik. Has it sunk in yet that you're finally realizing your dream of playing in Europe?
Firstly, hello to everyone, and thanks for having me on the show. And it's been really good, man. It took a decent amount of time. I think Manoj, my manager, always on the phone, always on the emails to find out all the paperwork to be done, and a decent amount of travel as well to get here. But, good, man. Finally, good to be here. It's a very good club, good people. That's very important to have good people around you. So good people, good owners, good players. I met the coach and everyone, so they made me feel very homely.
Sandesh, as Anand mentioned, it was a long cherished dream for you. You've spoken about it in the past of wanting to go abroad. How excited are you that, yes, it's finally happening?
I think, if I'll be honest, it's just not me. I think most of the Indians or Asians, if I say, have this desire to move to a higher level of football. Europe is, one of the best clubs there, one of the best in the world. So everyone has that desire and have that dream, and I also had it, and I kept working on it. Each year try to move out, and sometimes there were things that didn't let it happen, whatever it was. So I always believe that whenever something happens, it happens at the right time. The blessing is always ready for you. Just God is making you ready for the blessing. Because I don't want to come here and then be on the bench all the time and then go back. Can't happen. So the real dream is to come to Europe and succeed, and to open the doors for the Indians to come.
Sandesh, obviously you're very happy, but one man who was very disappointed with this news was a lifelong Mohun Bagan fan in Maurya Mandal, who's on our show. And actually, he was the first one who started reading reports of you having offers from multiple clubs in Europe. Why did you finally decide to go to where you are at the moment in HNK Sibenik?
Firstly, about ATK Mohun Bagan, they've been so nice to me. Can't be more thankful to them because last year when I recovered from that injury, a lot of things change when you're injured. I don't have to stress on it. People, change when you're in the deep dark hole. But ATK Mohun Bagan was very nice to me. The owners, Mr. Goenka, the coach, Abbas, and everyone associated with the club. They really helped me get back to my best and even go a step further, and that's what it all helped me to be here as well. So ATK Mohun Bagan, I'm going to be a big thanks to them. And then I told them that this is going to happen, that I'm going to move to Sibenik, and they were also very supportive, which is incredible. Owners so supportive of it, and they wanted Indian to go out and take a step up. So big thanks to them, very nice. And about the Sibenik, so there were some other interests as well, and it was going here and there. And then I had a call with Anuj, and I was like, what to do? Should I sign here? Should I sign there? Because thanks to God, I had the choices to make. So as me and Anuj were just talking, we saw the positives and negatives, and I spoke with the coach, Mario here, and spoke with the TD, spoke with other people. And I like the project. I like how they are expecting me to come, and what is their plan further. How can I help the team? How can they help me?
Sandesh, also, have you had a chance to speak to Igor Stimac, who is the national team coach, and your other national team teammates? What has their reaction been?
Yeah, I spoke to the Gaffer when we were in Qatar only. I asked him, that was the first time I had the interest. That when Anuj told me that this club is interested in you, they've monitored you for the whole ISL and the national games. So I asked the coach, of course, because it's everywhere in Croatia. Wherever you go, you take his name and you get everything for free. Speak to him, and so he gave me what are the, what it's all about Sibenik, what it's about the club, how the city is, and everything.
HNK Sibenik, Anand, would have suddenly found a lot of Indian fans and a lot of interest.
Absolutely.
Let us know how we can buy a jersey, maybe with your name on the back.
Sandesh has promised he's going to send it to us.
India, because when I came here, the first thing they were saying that we didn't expect that there's so much interest from other country about the club, and they said we're going to open a store in India for your jerseys.
There you go.
But still, all depends how I do. So if I do well here, for sure.
But Sandesh, you touched upon it, but now the challenging part starts, right? You have signed for a club. If you were playing in India, you would walk into any team, the first 11 of any team in India. But here you have to fight for your place. How does it feel that, in a sense, you're back to square one, almost having to prove yourself that, yes, I'm Sandesh Jhingan, I should start?
I think that's what it's all about, always going out of your comfort zone. If you track my whole career, being from the I-League days, I always took decisions. There was a challenge to be in, to earn your position. And I'm a firm believer that the moment you start getting comfortable at a spot, you don't progress. You need to touch yourself, especially do the things which make you fear in a good way. Which fear you. Like in India, I almost had everything. Why would I take a decision to come here? But for any normal circumstance, it's going to give you a lot of fear in your heart. Like, why would you do something? You're still alive, healthy family, you have everything almost in India. But that's the moment where you see your growth is not happening because you've reached the highest level. And for me, at my age, I believe I still haven't touched my potential. I'm just turned 28 now. I believe I still have so much potential in my game. I didn't want it to just stay in India. With due respect, India has given me so much. I'll always be thankful to the people and the club. I just felt I need to take a different challenge. Where I go completely out of my comfort zone. Then again for myself. It all just comes back to that small kid back in Chandigarh, and that little Sandy, who had a lot of dreams and who believed in his dreams and believed that if he works hard, he can achieve anything. So I'm just following that boy, still in my head.
That's an amazing thought, right? Imagine telling that boy in Chandigarh 2 decades ago that one day you're going to be playing in Croatia. It's quite surreal. But personally, Sandesh, you said you are happy, your partner's happy. It's a beautiful city. What are the goals that you set for yourself personally? As you start this new journey, you bounce back from injury. You had a great last season. How are you looking at this in terms of your personal achievement?
Yeah, so this is what it is. Yeah, coming here was one step of it, and it was pretty difficult to get all the paperwork done, to be honest. So I thought it would have been easier, but yeah, so come here is the first step, which I would call it the easier one. Of course, it's hard to impress the team and then come, but the main challenge is now, because I don't want to be come here and don't succeed and then go back. I've come here to, to excel, to succeed, and it's more of a personal dream as well, but more of, because I love my country and I want to see my country grow a lot in football terms as well.
Now, Sandesh Paji, now that you are moving abroad, in a sense, you are now a role model for a lot of young Indians and a lot of young Indian footballers who now can dream of also playing abroad. Obviously, Gurpreet's gone, Sunil Bhai is gone. How do you look at that you are now a role model of sorts for young players?
So, yeah, of course, it feels good, when people look up to you. You can bring happiness to someone, or it can inspire someone, always helps you sleep good at the night, Yeah, so it feels good, but also it adds a lot of responsibility to you.
So that's Sandesh Jhingan, who's made the move to HNK Sibenik. Wish him all the best. But transfers are happening here in India also. So many happening this week. Rahul Bheke to Mumbai. Chennai have signed a new striker from Poland, whose name I have no idea about how to pronounce. We'll get there. JFC have signed Anas Komal Thattal. And the big one, Odisha FC have signed Malaysian international Liridan Krasniki. And Darren, you've been researching about him. What do you make of this signing?
Well, he looks like a very, very solid midfielder to me. I've been told that he can play as a number 10, also as a number 8. And, I watched a few videos and he was kind of like your typical box-to-box midfielder, somebody who's strong, technically very, very gifted. He's a big guy, but he's very good on the ball.
Chennai signings are always difficult to read, obviously, because they're always different from the rest of the league. But I think I always tend to focus on the Indian signings, and especially when some of the champion team signs players, because you look and think, how can that Mumbai team get any stronger? And I think signing somebody the likes of Rahul Bheke, I think obviously a local lad, he'll have a lot to prove. He's won the Hero ISL with a winning goal at that Mumbai arena. So I think that's a very, very astute signing, because as the number of foreign players reduce in the league, you need somebody who can play at the back. That's important, an Indian player who can play at the back.
Just the way you two gentlemen are to Football United. But thank you so much for your time. I'll let you go. We'll slip into a short little breather here, but plenty more to come on the other side. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Football United with Maurya Mandal and Anand Tyagi. Before the break, the focus of our attention was the AFC Cup games that featured Bengaluru FC and ATK Mohun Bagan. We now switch our attention back to the Hero ISL, where we caught up with the new Goa frontman Cabrera, and this is what he had to say.
First, tell us why choose FC Goa in India?
Hi, thank you. Because I spoke with some players who are my friends, like Javier Hernandez, like Alex Barrera, and they told me that FC Goa has the perfect style for my skills, and that was directly, And then we spoke with I spoke with Ravi and the club, and of course it was like totally 100% convinced, because they treat me like a part of family. So for me it was really, really important. But the first step was like Javier Hernandez and Barrera told me that you have to go there because they play really good football and they have the perfect style for your skills.
You spoke about the style. How important was that to know about FC Goa's style under Juan Ferrando before you made this decision?
For me, it's really important because last season it was really, really bad season for me. In big part because of this, because team played different style completely than mine, and of course I wasn't comfortable on the pitch the short times that I have played. But for me it's important to feel comfortable, because during my career, when I felt like I'm important and I felt comfortable on the pitch, always I made really good seasons.
FC Goa have played some really, really good attractive football over the last many years, but they've still not won the ISL trophy. They've won the league. The fans obviously expect. Do you think that can change this year? You can change that?
Of course, I have to think like that. Of course, I have to think. If not, I stay at home. But I told you before, I'm hungry.
Talking of FC Goa, the team has some very good young Indian players. Some of them are playing in the national team also. But overall, it's a fairly young team. So that puts more responsibility on the foreign players, the likes of you, Edubedia, and all of them, to, in a sense, guide these youngsters along in tough matches. How do you look at that responsibility?
Yeah, of course. At the moment that you as a foreign comes here, I mean in India, not here right now. You have to know that you have big responsibility because you have to put the balance, because most of the Indian players are young, so you have to help them and you have to push them. You have to give your maximum as much as possible. And of course, I would like to, because I told you before, I like football in general. I like football. I love football. I love to speak about football. I love to speak while I'm watching a game. Where are the free spaces or this kind of things?
But I'm putting under a little bit of pressure. Goa's strikers have won the Golden Boot on multiple occasions. How do you look at that? The race is on this year, isn't it? With a lot of great strikers also coming in.
Yeah, of course. Especially I know Angulo as well, because I played against him in Poland, so I know really well, and I have big respect for him, even for Koro as well. But for me, I told you before, it's not extra pressure on my shoulders, because I live with this pressure. I'm a striker. When you move to new team, everybody will look to you, will be focused on you. So it's not an extra pressure. For me, it's like a responsibility. I have to first of all, I have to win or I have to get, let's say, the confidence of my teammates, and then I can show all my potential.